Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a massive tectonic geopolitical crisis unfolding in Pakistan. We're going to look really closely at the historical evolution of power between Pakistan's military and its civilian government, and exactly how a decades-long struggle has culminated in a standoff that is literally shaking the nation to its core. Let's get right into it.
We told you not to harass Imran Khan, sir. Now, this wasn't whispered behind closed doors. This was yelled directly at armed forces personnel on May 9, 2023, by average, everyday citizens. Right after former Prime Minister Imran Khan was dramatically arrested from the Islamabad High Court, something totally unprecedented happened. People across the country poured into the streets, but they weren't just protesting the government, they were confronting the military directly.
And to really understand the sheer gravity of this, you've got to realize that this level of instability literally hasn't been seen in Pakistan for decades. Actually, many experts are calling it the absolute biggest crisis the country has faced since 1971. This marks a historical first, where everyday Pakistani citizens are openly showing their anger against the military establishment.
The immediate fallout, it was explosive. We're talking about more than 2,000 people arrested almost instantly. Over in Rawalpindi, an unaccompanied girl was actually filmed shaking the massive gates of the military headquarters. Police retaliated with tear gas and water cannons, and the government even imposed nationwide internet blackouts just to cut off access to social media. It was absolute chaos.
Okay, let's dive into this and untangle this 70-year geopolitical web. Here's our agenda. 1. The unprecedented May protests. 2. A history of military rule. 3. The Army's business empire. 4. Imran Khan's rise and fall. And 5. What happens next? Section 1. The unprecedented May protests, unpacking the arrest.
So let's look at the specific legal mechanisms that actually triggered these nationwide riots. That dramatic arrest on May 9, it was led by Pakistan's NAB, or the National Accountability Bureau. They brought in paramilitary forces to literally escort Imran Khan away in a scene that was visually quite scary, with just this massive swarm of officers surrounding him. The NAB claimed this was absolutely necessary because Khan had been repeatedly absent from their legal hearings. But it's not just one case. Since losing a no-confidence vote in Parliament back in April 2022, Imran Khan and his party, the PTI, have been completely flooded with legal challenges. Imagine facing roughly 140 alleged crimes, everything from corruption to terrorism all the way to murder charges. And 34 of these specific cases are aimed directly at Imran Khan himself. Section 2. A history of military rule. The invisible hand. To really grasp why arresting one single man sparked such a firestorm, we must analyze the historical evolution of power in Pakistan. You see, we have to understand why the military is widely seen as the ultimate power broker. Basically, whenever the military in Pakistan has a hard time dealing with democracy, they just step right in and establish direct dictatorships. Pakistan has experienced 4 successful military coups in 1953, 1958, 1977, and 1999. And this brilliantly illustrates the divide. Both India and Pakistan gained independence at the exact same time. Yet, while India held its first general election in 1951, Pakistan, heavily bogged down by military dictatorships, didn't hold its first general election until 1970. That's nearly 2 decades later.
So, the crucial point here is that whenever former prime ministers try to take a stand against the army, it historically ends terribly for them. Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, hanged in 1979 under a military dictatorship. His daughter, Benazir Bhutto, faced house arrest and was later assassinated. Even Nawaz Sharif ended up locked in jail during Imran Khan's tenure, a move widely believed to be due to military influence.
Section 3. The Army's business empire beyond the barracks. You know, the military doesn't just hold political sway. Even during times of civilian rule, they maintain this incredible indirect grip on the country through immense corporate power. There's a common saying, if you need cement, use the army's cement. This really highlights how the Pakistani military basically operates as the nation's largest industrial corporation. Their influence permeates everyday business, meaning their power goes way, way beyond just barracks and borders. $239 million. That is the staggering amount the NAB claims the government lost due to a quid pro quo deal. They allege that Khan's government favored a property tycoon who, in return, provided land for the Al-Qadir University Trust, an organization actually set up by Khan and his wife. Add to that the Toshakhana case. Toshakhana is basically Pakistan's state treasury for gifts. The courts ruled that Khan misled officials about some really expensive gifts he received and then sold them at exorbitant prices. The result? A ban preventing him from holding political office for 5 years, further reinforcing the illusion of choice in Pakistani politics.
Section 4. Imran Khan's Rise and Fall, a Paradigm Shift.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how Imran Khan went from being the perceived favorite of the military to public enemy number one. Just look at this complete 180-degree flip. Back in 2018, it was widely believed Khan won the election with the military establishment's backing. He passed pro-military policies and handed generals key government portfolios. But jump to 2023, after losing his no-confidence vote, and he is fiercely anti-military, openly accusing the army of orchestrating his downfall.
This animosity absolutely reached a boiling point in November 2022, during an assassination attempt, where Khan was shot in the leg. He openly accused the military of trying to kill him, specifically pointing the finger at ISI Major General Faisal Nasir. He actually nicknamed him Dirty Harry, claiming Nasir conspired with Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif.
The ultimate takeaway here is that this intense military-civilian war is happening while the country is teetering on the brink of total collapse. I mean, inflation has hit a record 30%, making an IMF bailout absolutely crucial. At the exact same time, terrorist attacks are rising in Baluchistan and near the Iran border. This political instability, it's literally throwing gasoline on a massive economic and security fire.
Section 5. What happens next? The ultimate dilemma.
This brings us to the climax of our explainer. Where does Pakistan go from here? Well, on May 12, 2023, the Supreme Court of Pakistan actually provided a bit of relief. They ruled Khan's initial arrest illegal and released him on bail. Those violent protests temporarily cooled into street celebrations. But make no mistake, this structural war between civilian popularity and military authority is far, far from over. This leaves us with an incredibly tense dilemma. Will the military resort to establishing a fifth dictatorship just to suppress Imran Khan? Unlike past prime ministers, Khan's immense popularity as a former Cricket World Cup champion gives him a really unique armor. Because of that, the military might actually be facing a civilian force stronger than they've ever dealt with before. Or is the exact opposite true? Will Imran Khan and his massive base of supporters actually succeed in destroying the military's historical grip on power? Khan himself seems incredibly confident, stating that his party is poised to completely sweep the upcoming elections. Which brings us to our final, lingering question. Will Pakistan finally break its 70-year cycle and build a healthy, balanced democracy? Or is it doomed to repeat its dark history of coups and ousted leaders? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep a very close eye on these developments because history is quite literally being written right now.